Today's episode is brought to you by Homestead Dirt Works and Mulching. You need to do anything to your land. Like if you have land, first of all, good for you. All right, but it needs to look good. You need to take pride in it. We know a lot of people here, they like to do their own landscaping, but if you got like large swaths of land that you need tended to, need to figure out how to drain something on a hill in the woods, you need to call Gabriel Schemper and the guys at Homestead Dirt Works and Mulching. They'll take care of you. I got to sit down with Coach O'Keefe. Man, this guy's an absolute legend. You're going to love this conversation because you really get some insight into what it's like to teach as well as coach, how you can juggle that within, a very hectic schedule, and what it takes to win. How do you still, year after year, get kids to buy into your system, and how do you motivate them in a world that seems increasingly unmotivated? Sit tight and enjoy. Because that's a thing that happened for sure. Coach, I'm so excited to have you here. How you doing today?
Doing great, Drew. Appreciate you having me.
Man, this is awesome. So we've done this, but we haven't really done this. We did this on Zoom in the throes of the pandemic. I got to say, I enjoy this much more. Much more. So we talked about this last time, right? We said, you took over the girls basketball team mid-season, right? And last year had a historic year. All right, made it to the Final Four. All right, you start this season, preseason. You're ranked in the top 5 in the state in our division. We had said that having a full preseason was going to be awesome because you're going to really get your hands in there and put your stamp on that team. And now we have COVID. What has preseason been like this year?
It's been difficult since we do not have an athletic period here at Sacred Heart. We started practice October the 12th, and then COVID hit, which meant a majority of my players that also play volleyball were unable to practice. So technically we've been together for a team roughly about a week and a half. We did have a good summer workout. Kids worked out 3 days a week during the summer. I was very proud of that. But coming into the season, we were ecstatic, hoping we could build upon what occurred last year, which I felt like we had a chance of having another really good year. Right now we're behind the 8 ball because everybody on our schedule has already played 3 or 4 games already. We have not played any. In fact, we had to cancel our first 3 games because of the protocols we were under with quarantine. We open up Tuesday at Mount Olive. I wish we had about another month of practice because we're physically not where I want us to be, as well as being a cohesive unit like I like us to be. But our goal is to improve each week. It's going to be difficult at first, especially getting in conditioning that I like, game-type conditioning. I'm hopeful by the middle of December we'll be where we want to be when we reach region play, which is so important for us. But right now it's just trying to improve each and every week. The kids' attitudes have been great, but it kind of knocked us for a loop with the COVID situation and also not having an athletic period. And plus, who we play Mount Olive Tuesday night, they've already played 4 ball games. So that gives them a little bit of an asset going into the game Tuesday.
So let's say I'm on your team. I'm a player on your team. What do you say to me to get my head right for that game on Tuesday? Given all the adversity that I've seen, right? Maybe I had to quarantine. Maybe my friends had to quarantine. All this uncertainty that's not good for anybody, but especially kids. What do you say to me as one of your players?
I think the biggest thing is they're looking forward just to getting started, just getting to play a game. Their attitudes have been great in practice. I think they actually didn't miss me, but they missed being together as a group at practice. We've been working exceptionally hard. We get through at practice usually 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. We work in every Saturday. We were blessed yesterday to work out at William Carey University because we had a junior high game going on there. The biggest thing is just don't expect too much Tuesday night. I said we're not going to look great Tuesday night. We're not going to be near where we were last year at this time, but it's early in the year. We want to try to get better each week and be hopefully where we want to be in region play and then hopefully in the playoffs. As far as the ranking situation, it's great for the kids and the community and the school. It really does not mean a lot to me because we ended up being ranked last year 5th in the state overall. And that was great for the school since it had never occurred in the girls' program before. But it's not what you do early in the year, it's what you do at the end. Having the early preseason ranking is an honor for the kids' hard work. But once again, I've been blessed. I actually had a team 2 different years at Perry Central. One was ranked number 2 in the United States, and one was ranked number 8 in the United States. The following year, we lost one game that year, and that was the state championship. So we were ranked nationally and still got beaten the state championship by a team we had beaten a week earlier in South State. So rankings don't mean that much to me, my mindset, but for the kids, it's incentive to try to achieve what we did last year. But we are a long way from where we need to be at this present time.
Well, and it's one of those things I think, as a coach, that's pretty normal you don't, Sean Payton of the Saints says, don't eat the cheese, right? Meaning don't start buying into the hype about you from the outside. Anyone outside this building, really, it doesn't matter. We have to focus on what we're doing. And I think it's very normal to not feel like you're prepared enough or, I think that's a very normal coach response, but I know that the kids are going to be very excited to just get to play, because when we were doing Zoom sessions for school in the spring, you start thinking like, are we going to even be here at school to much less be able to play a sport? It's an exciting thing.
And also, we're hopeful we can get through the season, because the earlier protocols coming from the High School Activity Association were possibility we would just play region games only, which have only been about 8 games for us, and then go straight to the tournament and so forth. And I think that's in the back of their minds too, as well as myself. But this is a really resilient group. I've been real proud of their attitudes from when I took over until now. The expectations we have are high, but I want that to be every year here. That's my goal, was to more or less have this be a common denominator for us to have a very good girls basketball team, not just last year, but in years to come. They're not used to being ranked. They're not used to having a lot of notoriety. We've only had 2 winning seasons in the school history, which we hope to build upon again this year. So rankings to them is good, but it's also can be maybe a little bit of a roadblock or negative, but we build upon it by saying, let's prove what those prognosticators said, that we are that good. But again, right now, what happened last year is great. Last year is completely over with. We're building on a new season this year. Expectations are high, which I like, but I want that to continue each and every year here. But I think that the kids are looking forward to the challenge of it. We're very glad to have Avery Smith back, who was injured last year. We have only have one senior, that's Kate Gallardo, who is our team captain this year. We still have a relatively young bunch of young ladies, so I think the best is yet to come. I think we can still be very good for years to come here, and that's my goal, hopefully, to continue the program and build upon our success from last year.
Yeah, and when there's definitely a difference between having a good team and a good program. Sustaining and bringing up the younger players too is something that's such a challenge, and it's very tempting when you have a good senior class to just put all your eggs in that basket and not pay attention to the younger ones. But it's good that you have that in mind. That's. If I'm in 7th, 8th grade, I'm looking up going, okay, I'm going to be taken care of when I get to that point.
And our numbers have been down in girls basketball throughout history here. We weren't able to have tryouts this year. So we still don't have a large squad. We have a bigger squad than last year. But my other hopes are in years to come to have a little bit larger group of young ladies, and also have a junior varsity team, which we'd like to have next year, because it is important for the young kids coming up to want to be part of the program. Like our soccer program is so strong here, we have other great sports here, and we're so great academically, but it's exciting to see that the basketball team is getting, the success has helped them get a little notoriety, because in the girls' eyes, that's important to them, and people are talking about them now, which also puts the bullseye on our back also. We will not sneak up on people this year. We're going to take some losses this year. We're playing a demanding schedule. We're playing some larger schools, which I think will help us in the playoff picture. But last year was a Cinderella run. This year, we have a tougher, it's going to be a little bit tougher situation for us with competition-wise, and also teams know who we are, and that's going to make our road to where we got to last year possibly a little bit tougher to get there, but I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Well, and it does make it more of a challenge because you do lose that element of surprise. But at the same time, that's what you want. You want that type of pressure. The soccer programs here, boys and girls, have dealt with that for a while. As Coach Fallow says, it's lonely at the top. But it's one of those things where it's surprising to see how kids will react to that. And most of the time it's overwhelmingly positive. So I'm excited about it, and I love basketball. Basketball is an awesome sport, and it's something too that because of small numbers, basketball is one of those sports where if you have one or two good players, you can build around them, and you can really dominate. So speaking of dominating, right? How's it going to look with Gracie Falla and Sarah Gallardo in the future? Not just this season, but in the future. How are you planning to use them this season as well as next?
Each player has to improve each and every year, and that's why I think the future is bright. Gracie gets a lot of accolades because she does a lot of things for us, but the thing that makes this team kind of interesting to me and very resilient and gritty, as I say grit a lot about this team, is it's a team. We had in fact, our entire starting lineup is coming back, but they all had their roles to play. Gracie this year will see a lot of double teams because people really didn't know about her as much as being a great soccer player as a basketball player until last year. So each individual player, such as Sarah, Kate, Ella, Mercier, Mallory, Avery, our bench players are so important this year. We're going to play a little bit different style than we played last year. Hopefully in weeks to come, as we get in better condition, we're going to be more of a pressing team, pushing the ball a bit more. Last year we were very methodical, slowed the ball down. I like more of a higher paced offensive sets than we ran last year to this year. So we'll be a little bit more upbeat, but we're going to have to more or less crawl before we can run. So hopefully in the next 3 to 4 weeks we can add up some tempo that I'd like to have. We'll still be a very set-up type offensive sets. We do run disciplined sets, but I'm going to turn them loose a little bit more this year. And having Gracie as to be our figurehead is good because she's very unselfish with the ball. She doesn't have to score 20 points a game for us to win this year because I think we're better offensively this year than we were last year, especially shooting the basketball. Having Avery it would be very helpful. Mallory shoots the ball well. Kate, we've got a very core group of kids that I think can score this year. Ella and Sarah are very important. They're our two best defenders, and Ella Mercier will be moved to the wing this year. She had to play inside for us last year, only being 5'4", because we just had to put her there. It was not her natural position. She's improved vastly with her shooting.
Boy, she's scrappy.
Right, she is. But a 5'4" post, I don't think anybody's ever seen before, but she did it for me when I asked her. When I took over, I moved some people around, and we were limited with our post play, and she did a very good job. But she's an excellent defender. Her and Sarah are our two stoppers when it comes to defense.
Well, I tell you what, that's a great answer, right? I kind of baited you there, bringing up individuals, but I think that's important that, especially for the kids, like it's about the team. It is about the team. We had soccer practice yesterday, and I was talking about Aaron Rodgers, of the Green Bay Packers. Told Pat McAfee that football is the ultimate team sport in his eyes, and that he enjoys that he can't dominate as one person, as one player, that you have to have so many different position groups. And he's obviously lobbying for football, but I took that to heart, and I really think that's refreshing hearing you say that. Is yeah, you could toot somebody's horn, but really it's about the team. And it's not just the five that are on the floor at the time. All right, it's the people who are going to come off the bench because you're going to use everybody.
So important, the bench playing. Mallory Gilbertson, I can go on and on. We got some younger girls that I brought up from the junior high. They're going to play. We're going to play more kids this year. Last year we really only had a rotation of 6. This year we're going to play at least 8, 9 a night, if not all of them if possible. In certain games we can't play everybody, but the role players are just so important with this team because a different style. We're going to press a lot differently than we did last year. We're going to play a lot more different multiple defenses, and our kids are going to get tired. We're going to be tired Tuesday night. Trust me. We're going to have to play ourselves into shape. So I'm going to have to play more kids to get everybody in shape. To me, practice is great. Conditioning is great. But to me, you get more out of actually playing yourself into shape. to an actual ball games than actually at practice. It's a different type. And I think that's going to be important for us these next few weeks to try to improve each week conditioning as well as our basketball play also.
Oh, and you can work on fitness all day. Nothing beats playing, though. You have to have games. Like, there's no that. I think it's also, it's not just the types of movements, like especially in basketball, direction changes. Like you can do functional fitness, you can do cross training, that'll help. But especially in basketball, you can't just lift a lot of heavy weights. You have to do high reps, and the fact that your heart rate's already elevated for a game because you're excited, that's what drains. I remember that. That's what drained me the most, was just because I was like, who's here watching at the game? So I'm not just putting myself through hard physical activity. Mentally, it's very tough, which is why this is why it's interesting to talk to you, because mentally the biggest thing that's been on everybody's mind is COVID. So your preseason is not the same, is not what anyone would expect in a normal year. So it's going to be very interesting to see how you adapt and how you move forward through the season.
True. And this is such a close-knit group of kids. It was fun even this summer when we started. We got permission to have our summer workouts, and we went through the protocols, checking their temps, putting the sanitation, the cleaning materials on the hands, social distancing, playing. They got to use their own ball, couldn't use the same ball. They were just excited to see each other. And then when we had the 14 days of quarantine, even them being separated from each other, when they came back, they were just glad to see each other, just to have some type of normalcy, which is not just Sacred Heart, but every school in the country. Kids want to be kids, and part of basketball is an important aspect. Sports, extracurricular items, besides academics, are so important in their growth as young people in high school setting too.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think it's, regardless of results throughout the season, I think it's going to be great to just see this team grow. And it's an experiment. What happens if you take away preseason? What if you have to do all these different things? So, well, Coach, how are you handling teaching? You do PE, physical education, at the elementary. What do those classes look like? I know that's different too. Everything we're doing seems to be different.
Well, in the past, Coach Coulter and myself, we have each month we would change to a different activity. We stretch the kids. We make the kids do running, get their heart rates up for at least 5 to 10 minutes after they stretch. Then we would play a different game or activity, which would be each month, which means they got to play it 8 different times. This year, because we can't use balls, we can't touch items and so forth, the kids at first had to get used to it, but I brought all my ladders, all my hurdles, all my conditioning that I do with my basketball team. And if you ever come to the elementary gym, we've got it all the way stretched out completely. They really have gotten to like it. So in essence, we're doing a ton of cardiovascular activities, a lot of footwork activities that I do with my basketball team. And each day we still stretch, we still run. We don't get to play an actual game where they can pick up balls and throw and do things of that nature, play volleyball or play dodgeball or play kickball, because we don't want them touching the same items and so forth. But they really have gotten into it, and then we have activities where we more or less time them to try to improve their time each time from class to class, and they really get into it because they're competitive. They'll say, what did last class do? And we'd have a time frame there. You need to come down, Drew, one day and see them go through it, because you're a conditioning guy. I always stay in good shape. I think you'd enjoy it. We even have the pre-Kers going through the same actual activities and conditioning drills that the 6th graders are doing. But they've been great about it, and I think it's helped some of our kids that might not be quite in the condition of some of the other kids that don't play sports. I can see improvement in them, drastic improvement, where they're not huffing and puffing quite as much as they were earlier. And they come running into PE because they still look forward to PE. We're just sorry we can't actually play the individual games with them that we did before because of the standards we have to go by from the governor as well as the mayor. But they really have a good time with it still.
I think the most important thing we need to focus on now is being able to move around and be healthy, because COVID it's dangerous for people who aren't healthy already, right? That's the main problem, is that we have to stay fit. You have to think about your body as a vehicle. It's a temple that God gave you. You got to take care of it. And that's really cool that you get to do that from such a young age. The pre-K is doing the same conditioning things that sixth grade's doing. I love that too. I love doing, like with drums, I love doing the same types of things with different age groups to see how they respond. And man, it's impressive sometimes what the younger kids can do, because you think, oh, you're young, you this is too much. And a lot of times they surprise you more so than the older kids. They're like, well, what? Because they're just sponges. So is that something you're kind of experiencing
Oh,
now?
definitely. And we have more fun. We have fun with all the kids, but we have more fun with the young ones, just seeing them come in because they're enthusiastic and they're excited to get out of the classroom. I think all the kids need a break, too. I know they have recess, but it's different when they come in the gym. We actually can turn it loose a little bit. They can, scream and yell a little bit, have fun, but they really get into it as far as the competition part. But watching those young ones going through the hurdles and the ladders, the footwork drills and so forth that we do is actually, it's fun to watch and enjoy, but it's also fun to see them achieve and get better at it, because at first they have issues with it, but they really more or less push each other on it. It's really great to see that. But the young ones are my favorite. I enjoy all of them, but the young kids are our favorite to work with.
Oh yeah, I bet that's really fun with the younger guys. I know that's got to be funny seeing them doing the ladders and stuff. But all right, you ready now to play questions about you?
I'm ready, Drew. Go for it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Isn't this a great interview? Isn't Coach O'Keefe doing amazing? Man, these questions about you are going to be so good. So buckle up after you hit that subscribe button and press the thumbs up, aka like. Let go. All right, Coach, what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. That fits. Walls blue, shirts blue, Crusaders are blue. There we go. What's your favorite animal?
Probably dogs, Labrador retrievers. Had a lot of labs in my day.
That's been actually the color blue and dogs have been the most popular answers.
I'm a
so
dog
far.
lover.
I think, yeah, if you're not, what's your problem? If you don't like dogs, what's your favorite hobby or pastime?
Spending time with my kids, getting to watch them play. They're different, in their involved in their different activities. I like to fish too, but probably anything I can do relaxing outside. I like to spend a lot of time outside, even working in my yard, actually cutting my grass, working the yard. I do enjoy that also.
That's awesome. What's the biggest fish you ever caught?
Well, actually, deep sea fishing, probably a red. I caught one that was about 28 pounds. But then my mother beat me bass fishing. My mother actually caught a 9-pound bass. When my dad and I were in a bass boat, she's on the bank with a cane pole and a dead minnow, and she caught a large 9-pound bass. So that show you that story.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. Okay, what TV sitcom would you star in?
That's a good one. My favorite was Seinfeld. I think I could fit in there with my goofy personality in any aspect that they put me in. I would have loved to have been in that more or less show. I still enjoy watching old reruns of it right now. I could be George Costanza's friend, his friend Matt.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, Festivus is coming up too.
That's true.
So.
That's true.
I got a lot of problems with all you people. Yes, I love that. All right. Let's see. What do you like being complimented on?
Most of all, my children. If I'm complimented here at school about their attitude, how they act in class, being good kids. Yesterday when we practiced at William Carey University, it meant a lot to me that the head basketball coach and the assistant AD came up and said how well behaved our kids were and so forth. That means a lot to me. But my children, probably the biggest thing. If I hear anybody say positive things about them, it makes me proud.
Yeah, that's a great answer. That's a great answer. What's your favorite food?
I like to eat anything fried. I love fish, fried chicken. Probably my favorite would be fried chicken with rice and gravy, macaroni and cheese. I like anything kind of healthy I probably like. And ribs. I like barbecue. I cook a lot, so I like cooking barbecue a lot.
I was just about to say, I've seen on Facebook your grill photos. What's your favorite thing to cook on
Probably
the grill?
Ribs, barbecue chicken, anything. I'm obsessed. I've got 4 grills. I have a problem. I'm trying to get over it, but I have 4 different types of grills. But I've always loved to cook, learn from my dad, and it's relaxing to me in a pretty day, be out on my deck grilling for my family and friends. I like cooking for a lot of people also, so I do enjoy it.
It's something very like I love grilling too. I mean, I just have a little Weber, but it's something about getting to set something on fire and then, but it's a productive thing at the end of the day. You know, there's something. There's that caveman brain when you light something on fire, but then you don't. You know, no one's mad at you for it, so that's good. Okay, if you were sitting on a first-class flight, who would you be next to and why?
I would always love to be by John Wooden, who I consider the greatest basketball coach of all time, had the dynasty at UCLA. I was blessed to hear him at two clinics when I was younger, but his insight, not just on basketball, but on life, would have been unbelievable to sit and kind of pick his brain about a few things. And from what his players that played for him have talked about him, how they changed their lives, not as players, but as men. It'd been great just to sit down and talk to him about life and hear his insights.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. That would be absolutely epic. This is a good one. If you could create a fortune cookie and give it to yourself when you were 16, what would it say?
Dream it, believe it, achieve it, which has kind of been a motto I've had as a coach throughout my lifetime. I wish at 16, I really didn't know what I wanted to do until I became a little bit older, but to set goals at that time and to see them come to fruition. But I like that old saying. I heard that saying a long time ago, dream it, believe it, achieve it. And it's kind of a mantra I like to have with the basketball team, too. I told them that last year, and it, thanks to the good Lord above, it kind of stuck. But that's something that I would like to have read and maybe followed through on it at a younger age instead of waiting until I was a little bit older.
Well, and
goal setting, too. That's what's the biggest aspect of it, too.
Well, absolutely. I think, too, that old saying like, oh, I have plenty of time to do this, or I think COVID has really, for me, put in perspective like, hey, you may not have as much time as you think. So setting goals is very important to keep yourself on track. And I mean, it's very, especially for 16-year-olds to go, oh, I'm still young, I don't have to do that, or I don't have to worry about that now. I can just have fun. You got to have fun, but you also have to have a plan and have goals and objectives in front of you.
So true. When I was young, I was kind of like you just said. I just lived each day and said, hey, I'm going to have a good time, go to college. I was blessed to play in college and sports, but I really didn't set my mind to what I wanted to do probably till right when I graduated and got a job and say, you're in the real world now. I wish at a younger age I would have had a plan and set to a little bit sooner. My dad was always on me about that, but it got better as I got older.
Right. Yeah, that's...
I think that's everybody.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not alone in that at all. Okay, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I like to be able to read people's minds, because then as a coach, I could sit there and know what you're trying to do against me to prepare for me, and I could prepare my team. That'd be kind of interesting to be able to do that.
So for a little bit of espionage,
right?
There.
Definitely. But before games, that would be helpful, and during games too.
That's a very Belichick answer of you there.
And one other thing, maybe if I could put thoughts into referees' minds, which could help us as far as when they have issues officiating our games.
Yeah. Hey, refs always need a little bit of suggestions.
They need help.
A little bit of coaxing. So, all right, this is my favorite one. How do you want to be remembered?
I would hope to be remembered as, throughout my years of teaching, which before I came to Sacred Heart, I taught history at 3 different high schools, just been a fair teacher. I hope that the kids learn something from me, not academically as much as to help them in their lifelong goals to achieve. And I hope that my basketball players and all my students, when I'm no longer in this earth itself, that they would remember and said he was just a really good guy. He cared about us, because I think as educators, that's the most important thing, that kids understand that we care about them as people, and hopefully we can rub off a few things to help them in their lifetime, that they can, pass along to their children or people that they know. But people talk about Coach O'Keefe, folks say he was a good guy. He cared about us, and that's my biggest thing. I just want all the kids to know that I do care about them as individuals.
Well, and I'm sure they do. I'm sure they know that. You can tell in how whenever I see you at the elementary, you can tell that there's just, you got a good energy, and you can tell that rubs off on the kids, man. And honestly, you say that as educators, really, it's not even about educators. It's being just a person, a good person. Can you pay it forward, really, and help people out, not because they're related to you or you're going to get something out of it, just because that's what you should do, and it makes our community better. Our community is so lucky to have you, not just as a coach, but as a teacher who's helping pre-K kids get fit with the ladders. Coach O'Keefe, thanks so much for sitting down with me. This was really fun, and this is so much better than Zoom. Can we agree on that?
It's great either way. I appreciate you having me, and we're blessed to have you here, Drew. It's an honor to be here today.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Coach.